from all, to all, with all, for all, through all. We thank the gods of creation. We thank the ancestors. We thank the forces of nature. And we thank the earth. We thank them for their direction, their protection, their guidance, for keeping us, showing us, allowing us to know and enjoy life to its fullest, now and later.
Black people who once loved with the slow march of time. Time was hard to hold in the soft, love-warm chambers of our hearts. And once we, the Afro mommies and daddies of a sun world, would turn our strands of hair into antennas to tune in the juju madness and syncopated love rhythms of Africa. And we loved with time, and we took the time to love, and with the right time we loved, and we loved time after time. Will we ever love again? Will we ever love again? Will we really ever love again? Or will we just sit and rot away with the brighter tomorrows in the skag field, rat-cluttered halls of our minds?
Black people, what y'all gonna do? Black people, what y'all gonna do?
Will the real black people please stand up?
Jumbo Habari, and welcome once again to Our Story, the program that makes being black positive, relevant, desirable, and true to a lost nation in America. A program that speaks to the historic significance of the original people of the earth. Our Story Network takes pride in setting itself away from other programs that centers on entertainment or rhetorical mumbo-jumbo that misdirects your attention onto other things, that causes you to exhaust your resources and renders you brain dead. It is Our Story that champions the reestablishment of the black genius that once ruled the world. It is Our Story that focuses you in on the rewards of black advocacy, black activism, black involvement, and black power. It is Our Story that encourages survival of the black race and solicits your involvement to that end. Black folks must remember, race first is the call of the day, and we as a people must, I say must, take the pledge if we, the people of the original race, expect to survive. As I take the many lessons I have received over the years and reflect upon them by sharing these lessons with my brothers and sisters, I realize the power that we as a people possess, for the most part, has gone unnoticed. The masses of black folks who have been rendered lost and disenfranchised from the meaning and mission our creators intended for us to embrace is all but depleted. It is because of the mission and meaning of our life and our ancestors that I realize how blessed as black people we really are. What fascinates me are the many gifts I have been granted, which allows me to distribute the information onward to you. As always, that message begins and ends with the importance of blackness. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Greetings, comrades, family, the inquisitive onlookers, and our beloved viewers. Welcome, welcome, and welcome to Our Story Network. We thank you for being with us this evening, and we trust you will take something of value away with you after the program. That is the aim and goals of Our Story Network, the network that leads the pack in modern-day communications and ancient and modern education. I say ancient and modern education because of the many errors we have found in the translations and interpretations of ancient records. The modern revelations by new black scholars have opened the window of discovery that has allowed the truth and knowledge originally disseminated by the black masters of education to flourish once again. This is the one of the stumbling blocks that has kept black people from rebuilding their greatness and recapturing their birthright. Good evening, brothers and sisters. And how many of you are solving or resolving the problems facing black people today? I'm sure this sounds belligerent, and that is not my intent. The intention of this is to invoke thought to the circumstances surrounding our environmental conditions. It also is intended to make everyone aware of the continued problems we as blacks are experiencing from an inhumane and schizophrenic alien who has been successfully controlling the world and causing all living things to come under its umbrella. We talk a lot about racism and white supremacy because of the treatment the alien society inflicts on all non-white people. But many of us shy away from facing reality. Many blacks want all to just forget about the history that brought us as black people to this continent called Winter in America. It was Gil Scott-Heron who first coined the term Winter in America, but comedian Earthquake articulated a more specific meaning to Winter in America during the Trump years. In all of the misdirections of the current presidency that is supposed to rally the troops in leading the country to some sort of cohesiveness and strength to power the country going forward, Trump has become the laughingstock of the world. But not getting stuck on the laughingstock of the world, I want to turn our attention to Black America and the relations of comedian Earthquake. My understanding and underlining reason for pointing out Earthquake's pronouncements are essentially the challenge Earthquake sent out to black men in America. Earthquake stated he was tired of Trump disrespecting black women. Trump's language and innuendos of being stupid and or being ignorant and even accusing one black woman of being a racist went too far in Earthquake's view. Last week, Trump attacked 3 black women who are members of the White House press corps. Each asked Trump legitimate questions concerning his administration. Trump berated PBS's Yamisha Elsindor when she asked about the comments Trump made about nationalism. Elsindor asked Trump about how he felt about white nationalists feeling emboldened about his rhetoric. Trump lashed out at her by saying it was a racist question. Trump said Elsindor had insulted him and stated that she was a very racist and had a very racist question. Trump also attacked Urban Radio Network's April Ryan when she attempted to ask Trump a question. While attempting to ask Trump a question, Trump told her to sit down and refused to answer her question. Then on Friday, Trump singled her out and said Ryan was a loser who didn't know what the hell she was doing. Trump then turned his fury on Abby Phillips, calling her legitimate question stupid when she asked about Trump's recent replacement for Attorney General Matthew Whitaker and how this appointment will treat Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Before the critics attack me, WC, I know a white male that was Jim Acosta from CNN was attacked by Trump as well. But I am responding to what comedian Earthquake said to all black males in America about black women being disrespected by Trump and other white people who feel empowered to disrespect black people. This is where my energies are focused on today, simply because of what Earthquake did in challenging all black men who have a platform to use that platform to take the fight to Donald Trump by making any person or business who supports Donald Trump in any way to concentrate on hitting their pocketbooks and or to make life uncomfortable for them when they are in the community. Think about this, people. If we don't take measures to respond to the attacks from the racist whites, the attacks will multiply and amplify. As if we have not seen an uptake in attitudes and disrespect towards blacks in all quarters. With all the black politicians, black attorneys, black entertainers, and other notable blacks with resources or positions to move mountains, it has taken Earthquake, a comedian, to stand up and commit himself to make a change in direction and attitude towards black women in America. But don't get me wrong, black men will benefit from this as well. Black men will be able to move in the direction of protecting their women. And in moving towards protecting their women, they will automatically begin to protect themselves. Something black men have not done since the 1980s. Really, people, black people are in, at best, the conditions blacks faced in the 50s and 60s. And at worst, blacks are facing conditions similar to the turn of the 20th century. That means the 1900s. We are some 118 years away from that time. Back to solutions. We have enough manpower to challenge Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Blacks need to kick to the curb those blacks and black organizations who fail to take the bull by the horns by organizing a deliberate rebuttal to all of the disrespect and physical attacks the racist Trump and racist Republican Party has and continues to wage against black people, and also against the gains blacks have enjoyed for more than 50 years. Now, I offer the Community United for Change as an organization to begin this organized effort to galvanize the energy to structure the response to the all-out assault against blackness. And for those who are not familiar with what blackness is, it is the ability to protect black interests, both physically as well as intellectually. Because of the lack in response to attacks on black women, white racists and the racist Republican Party feel comfortable in attacking black women, black men, and most importantly, black children. This must come to a stop. Black people have been trying to ignore the attacks of racist white Republicans and racist white people for too long now. It is becoming evident that ignoring these attacks will not work. What is needed is organized responses that will demonstrate the ability of black people to deliver solutions and resolutions to their plight. If you are in for this movement, call 504-251-2201. If the lines are busy, or if we are busy at that particular time, leave a message and I will personally get back to you within 24 hours. This is a call for black people to find ways and means to fight the war blacks did not start. If you expect to survive, you must fight today and not wait until tomorrow. Tonight, we have with us combat veterans of the 1970s war and active members of the Panther Party. Brother Malik Rahim with Brother Malik is currently president, with Brother Reco is currently president of the Republic of New Africa. President General Reco, who is with one of their seasoned students of war and the creator of the United Descendants of Africa, Brother Lamont. All here to celebrate the standoff the Black Panther Party held in 1970 in the Desire housing projects. Welcome, brothers, to our story, which is dedicated tonight so our views and our comrades in New Orleans will not forget the impact the black movement had and continues to have in our city and in this country. Welcome, Brother Malik. I'm going to start off with you, and you have a lot of information you want to depart on us, especially with this anniversary of something that happened here in New Orleans in the 1970s. Welcome, Brother Malik, and explain to our audience what we're talking about.
Okay, as you are aware, the city of New Orleans is celebrating its 300-year anniversary.
Yes.
And in the course of celebrating this anniversary, it took special emphasis on certain events. But one have been absent.
Looked over, forgotten.
Forgotten. And that is what happened in Desire. It wasn't the first time they have looked over.
Right.
Because you could go all the way from the very beginning to the establishment of the first African community in Louisiana, and that was a Maroon community.
Yes.
And most of us don't even know what a Maroon is.
Right.
So again, they have been truly successful in telling their history of the 300-year anniversary of the city of New Orleans. One of the things that is absent is that 48 years ago, a group of young people came together and said that under the direction and the teachings of the Black Panther Party, that we was going to form a national committee to combat fascism, and a national committee to combat fascism, or the NCCF, is the first step in becoming a Panther chapter. So when they say about the shootout and the Panthers in Desire, it wasn't no Panthers in Desire. It was members of the NCCF, in Desire. But the last thing they wanted people to know is that some young people from out of their midst have came together and said that we're going to stand up, for self-sufficiency. That if you don't want to do what you're supposed to do, then that's cool. We're going to do it ourselves. We're going to protect our community. You dig? We're going to make sure that our community is capable to survive under a system that is basically embedded in us, and that is a cooperative system. Developing a cooperative means that we can overcome the hardships that we was facing. I was 22 at that time. I was one of the older members. So again, the average age was 17 to 22. So we was young people, but we had the belief in ourselves, that, hey, that we will no longer just sit ignorantly by, and allow our destiny to be one of a slave. That we was gonna stand up. We was gonna stand up for our right. We had a God-given right to stand up for justice, to make sure that that we didn't have to bow down to anyone. Here in New Orleans, that's an old Mardi Gras. Well, they use it now at Mardi Gras, but it's an old maroon burial song called Indian Red.
Yes.
And that was the feeling that we had, that we can change and transform our community. It wasn't a great deal of us, but we had some great role models. We was able to look at what the Honorable Marcus Garvey did, and before then, Bishop Henry Turner and others, what they had done. In the belief that we can uplift ourselves, So with those models, because as you know, one of the largest, especially with the Honorable Marcus Garvey, one of the largest chapter of the Universal Negro Improvement Association was right here.
That's right. And in fact, the state of Louisiana had the most chapters of any states.
That's right. So we had those role models.
Yes.
So again, when we came together under the teachings of the Black Panther Party and formed the NCCF, the first thing that has happened, once, it wasn't no concern about what we was doing, that we had literally reduced crime in one of the most crime-ridden areas of the city, almost 90%.
Yeah.
That we are establishing programs where we can uplift ourselves. That's not the kind of teaching that they wanted. So with that, they literally tried to erase that part of the history out of Louisiana. And what we're saying is that if you're going to celebrate this and celebrate our history, as far as Louisiana is concerned, or as far as the city of New Orleans in particular
yes.
is concerned, then let's tell the whole story.
Yes.
Let's tell everything that happened. Let's understand that this city is not such a happy-go-lucky city as everyone is trying to project it to be. That it have a really dark past. You dig? And that those who stood up for justice, those who was those little beacons of light, the little beacons of hope, you know, they have a story, and those stories need to be told.
I agree. Well, we're going to get back to that in a minute, my brother. I wanted to go over and introduce to our viewers a man that I've known for a number of years. I've worked with this man, and I've been with this man on campaigns, and I must say that the Republic of New Africa could not have a better president in their selection of President General Reco. Congratulations, my brother, and I want to thank you for your service to our people.
Yes, sir.
Brother President Reco, would you please tell us what is your vision for the Republic of New Africa?
Well, first and foremost, I'm very concerned about, in case everything get turned off, no food and no water. I'm concerned about the health of our people as a whole. And I'm also concerned about the education that our children are receiving in your public school system.
Mm-hmm.
They really seem to really have no knowledge, of the struggle that our mothers and fathers and grandparents went through. First, I would like to say that I am also a member of the Black Panther Party. Matter of fact, I was under the leadership of Brother Malik Rahim.
Mm-hmm.
My education came from the Black Panther Party. I got involved with the Black Panther Party when I was 16 years old. And be honest, it gave me an education which I would have never received in the public system.
Exactly.
The best way I can say is this. When I joined the party, it was at that time was the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. So I got into the security network at the age of 16 to like now I'm 66 years old. It's like, man, time and moved so fast on us, but the struggle still continued.
Yes.
And one of the things that I had learned in the Black Panther Party, dealing with quotation from Chairman Mao, dare to struggle, dare to win.
Yes.
And I'm in the service of us as a race of people. I think we need to understand one thing, that we are really all alone out here, and we must depend on each other. I mean, the world is moving at a very rapid pace, and yet, we are still in a position in which they lead and we follow. I am about separation. One will say, well, how can I accept such a, separation? Well, basically, it's not that I separated myself. They separated themselves from us.
Yes.
But I want this to be understood. We are very gifted people. I mean, real gifted. Look what we have done over 300 years. I mean, this was all swamp down here in Louisiana and New Orleans. Who you think irrigate that water out the swamp? We did.
Exactly right.
Who built the highways? We did. We got to always look at the fact that we was brought over here to do the work. Now it's the powerfulest nation in the world. Less than 200 years. Man, ain't we bad?
Yes, indeed.
And we can't take care of ourselves? Yes, we can. So the Republic of New Africa had, back in 1968, decided that maybe it's time that we come together. We used to always say we was a nation in a nation. So in 1968, in March, we decided to name that nation, and that nation is the Republic of New Africa.
And Brother Obadeli was one of the conveners of that nation. He was one of our greatest leaders who came out of right here in Louisiana, out of Baton Rouge.
In all honesty, when it comes down to Dr. Imari, I mean, he left a legacy behind.
Yeah.
But just not Dr. Imari. There's one gentleman I also like to, give, honor to, and that's Amos Wilson.
Yes, yes.
The brother hit it right on the nail. He speaks about nation. He speaks about what if no longer we get the support from our enemy. What do we do now?
And I'm showing my age because I'm getting forgetful. But there was a gentleman that was with Dr. Imari, and that was
Chokwe Lumumba.
No, before him, it was Fulani Ali's father.
Oh, you were talking about
Kalanje.
Alanje.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we cannot forget that brother because he gave so much.
He was also Minister of Defense of the Republic of New Africa.
Yes, he gave so much. So I had to, even though I couldn't put my finger on his name, and thanks to you, we were able to get it out. But yeah, that brother, he did a lot too. One of the things that we have to understand is that we have to involve our youth. Youth is very important in any strategy for a prolonged, protracted movement. I met this brother a few years ago in the on the battlefield, and listening to him, I said he's awfully energetic and he has a lot of ideas that are not new, but they have a newness to them because they're coming from a youth and fresh personality. And then I watched this brother create the UDA, United Descendants of Africa, and move with that because he was determined that he was going to bring pride and to bring notoriety to our ancestors by doing things that he found was positive, necessary, needed for us to be a self-sustaining as well as a self-determining people. And that was Brother Lamont. Brother Lamont, welcome to our story, and tell us about the UDA, if you would, please.
Well, first like to say I appreciate you having me. You know what I'm saying? All praise and honor to the Most High. All respect and honor to the ancestors, who sacrificed for us, and our future ancestors. What I like to call the old heads. The old heads, you know what I'm saying? It's always a blessing to be in y'all company and really get to listen to y'all cipher and reminisce and just dripping wisdom and experience. But when it comes to the UDA, the United Descendants of Africa, that was a creation that I created just to be an answer or antithesis to the USA. And what kind of ignited that fire within me was I was going through a little season of unemployment, and Donald Trump had made it to the finals in the Republican Party. And when it first happened and they first said he was running in the race, everybody kind of took it a little light, and we like, okay, here comes some more antics, you know what I'm saying, some more entertainment. But when he made it to the finals, because, we was all listening, kind of listening, but we wasn't locked in. Everybody wasn't, at least. And when he made it to the finals, I was already kind of in the study and seeking out that knowledge and that wisdom and kind of indoctrinating myself on the history of our people. And when he made it to the finals, I said, oh, I see the play. I see the play. Because, you know, that hiding in plain sight and that smoke and mirrors and that bait and switch, that those old tactics that have always worked against our people, especially since the formation of media and propaganda. I kind of took, the flag went up when he made it to the finals. I said, hold on, this serious. This is a serious move. This is not just a little smoke. They ain't blowing hot up. And I said, man, we gotta start creating something right now. Because once he gets in office, there's no telling what the plot twist gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I was sitting with one of my brethren. He ended up falling asleep, and I was just sitting there. I had my crayons from my daughter doing her homework out, pencil and some papers, and I think they had some of the one of the debates on TV. And I said, man, let me try. This gonna be a problem. Let me create a solution. Let me try to put together a solution right quick. So I started with the red, black, and green. Got pulled up a picture on Google of the American flag. Start creating, like, just thinking about the symbols that they used and symbols that our ancestors used, and tried to include the Ankh, the sun, the moon, the fist, and everything that I thought was definite symbols of not only just power, but spirituality, you know what I'm saying, culture, and a lot of the things that is not known in general amongst all our people, but that are like key symbolic features, you know what I'm saying, to our history and our legacy, like the Ankh. Like, it still surprises me how many of our people don't know what an Ankh is. Mm-hmm. Like, what is an Ankh? And I was like, they got it. Like, it just reminds me of the slavery and them talking about taking the body and destroying the mind, you know what I'm saying? Severing that tie to our roots and just having us kind of disarmed, you know what I'm saying? When it culturally and mentally and socially and historically, basically by keeping us away from the past and keeping us away from just that education of what our people have done, where we have been, what we have created, what we have been through, and creating the UDA and creating that entity was really about being selfish, you know what I'm saying, for us. Yeah. Like, I wanted to make something that not only we could control, but be very selective about who was involved, who had access, who could participate, who could facilitate, who could represent, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, we need to get some stuff that's specifically for us. Because you look around, like, they got Chinatown, you know what I'm saying? And they got certain parts of town that's upper class and all these sections, but you don't see anything that we created that's for us and is not just something that somebody gave us. It's not just a hustle. It's not just a scheme, but it's something that a flag you can hold up and represent, and you know if you go to that, you're going to be getting some of that real deal, true power and history, something valid, something that you could use as a weapon, something you could use as a catalyst, something you could use as a platform, and something that really, like, you could be proud of.
Yes,
something
indeed.
With a little swag, you know what I'm saying? Something with a little swagger about it. We need that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so often that we given and we fed connotations that's negative.
One of the things, though, that you were talking about the different towns, well, we used to have a town, they used to call it Nigger Town. It always referred to our town as Nigger Town. But I wanted to get back to Brother Malik and talk a little more about what is in store what are you planning to do to bring this awareness to the general public and most importantly our community about the contributions that the Panthers have done in this city? Because in 1970 it was not just the Panthers that was involved, it was the people. Because when the police came down on your location, the people came out, surrounded, and would not let the police in.
But that, it wasn't just the people. Because we was the people.
That's right.
See, the police tried to separate in the mass media the Panthers against the people. But as I was saying earlier, we was young kids from this city.
Yes.
You know, we was in our communities. And the reason why our people surround, and it was the first time in the history of Louisiana that young black people stood up and said you will no longer just come and blatantly attack anyone in our community.
Right.
That was a historic event.
Yes.
It never happened before, and it haven't happened since.
Yep.
It was a historic event where they stood up, men and young women from our community, and stopped over 100 police from invading their community. And they did it because I take it like the wildebeest in Africa. The lion only know how to attack him from the rear. You dig? But when he turned around, you dig, and they're facing them horns, he don't know what to do.
I'm telling you.
You know, and that's what happened. You dig? That's what happened. And it showed what we was able to do. We cleaned, the reason why they done this is because of what we had done in their community. We was young people that went in there and said, hey, we ain't gonna live in filth, so we gonna clean it up. We ain't asking you to clean it up. It's our duty. This is our community, then we have that responsibility. Now, if I'm asking you to clean it up, you dig, and you have that responsibility, then it's not our community.
Right.
It's yours.
Yeah.
So we have to do it for self. So that's what we did. We started going through that, cleaning up the project, making sure that we dealt with the most pressing issues that the community was facing. We made sure that we was going to end the violence in our community, especially that black-on-black crime. You think we put it to an end. You think, and it wasn't because we was no big bad dudes, you know, but everybody knew what we was doing was about righteousness, you know. So we got the support of the people. You think? I mean, I'm seeing a time where if a person left, they could call our office and we'll send somebody to come and stay in their apartment, you know. And they know one thing, wasn't nothing gonna be missing.
Mm-hmm.
If you were scared to go, if the elderly, when they was get their checks and was getting robbed, oh no, we put that to an end. And it wasn't the fact that I'm protecting my mother, you know, but I'm protecting somebody. Why? Because we loved each other.
Yeah.
We had a love for each other that is absent now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, we love ourselves, but because that's all you got to do is look around. When we was coming here tonight, one of the discussions that General Reco and I had was about, you know, our condition with all the wealth we have.
Yeah.
You know, with all the wealth we have, we aren't supposed to be in this condition.
That's right.
But what we did, we established programs. We called them survival programs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't nothing new, because these survival programs that we established wasn't nothing but a pass down from the ones that the United Negro Improvement Association had.
Yeah.
You dig, and all the way from Bishop Turner to the soup kitchens. You dig, that we had established. So it wasn't nothing but a continuation. You dig, and that's what we have to teach these kids today.
Yeah.
You dig, they need to know this history. They need to know that, hey, listen, again, we was young kids, you know, so you ain't got to wait on nobody else. You have to do it. You have to stand up and say, well, hey, I ain't gonna just sit here and just mumble about the conditions. I'm gonna change it. You dig? I'm gonna get involved. You dig? Now I'm gonna tell you, it'll make you cry. 'Cause I spent a lot of days in tears. But I tell you what, as a person in the twilight of my life, you know, I could make my transition knowing one thing. I wasn't no slave.
And not only that, but you did serve your people.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I mean,
Oh,
those
yes.
two things, not
Oh,
a
yeah.
slave and serving your people, has to be at the top of the list.
Listen, that's my legacy.
Yes.
That's my legacy. And it's not just mine. Yeah. Betty Toussaint and Althea Francois,
Yes.
two ladies that from after the first shootout, when we came out, it was a second wave that was supposed to go in to make sure that the office reopened. And many of those that was on that second wave who said they was going to be on the second wave, we didn't see them till almost 30 years later. But not those two. Not Betty and Althea. Not those brothers from the Callio and the Magnolia Project who came back over to Desire to make sure that the office was open. And these was young men that nobody giving any recognition to. Head, nose, crack. These young brothers that was straight warriors that made Reco and others who came up in there to make sure that legacy continued. You think? They was there. For that second shootout, there wasn't. For the second shootout, because there was two shootouts. There was one on September the 15th, which is the first one which I was in, and then there was another one on Thanksgiving morning.
Yes.
All right? And on Thanksgiving morning, they came in as priests.
Yes.
As priests.
Yeah, yeah.
When they couldn't get in because the community wouldn't let them invade, they came in as priests. So we need to know how devious and what type of dastardly deeds was done, and for what? Because every charge that they charged us with, every excuse that they gave to raiders, later we was found not guilty of.
Went to trial, and an all-white jury, I have to add.
Oh no, we had basically all-black jury.
Well, now they have in the write-up that it was an all-white jury.
No, we only had one white person on
there?
On the jury. He was the what they call it, the head jury person. And when he read
the foreman.
Yeah, he was the foreman. Yeah, excuse me, but I'm recovering from a stroke.
Welcome to the party, brother.
But when he found us not guilty, he stated in the name of Dr. Martin Luther King, I find these guys not guilty.
Wow.
You dig? And with it, but we had people that stood, and this was the first time in Louisiana history where blacks stood up and had a confrontation with them go to court, and then being found not guilty.
Yes. I mean, that was a major victory.
Oh, yes. Oh,
a
yes.
major victory.
Oh, yes. Like I said, it's never been done before.
That's right.
And have never been done since.
Yeah,
so
I
again,
agree.
our people need to know this. That not that we could stand up and fight, because we all know that we can do this, but that we can stand up and as men and women, as young, especially young men and women,
Yes.
and say that, hey, we could plot the direction for our future. We don't need nobody else to do this for us. We have to live it. As for me, we lived ours. That's all we need to do now is to let the lessons that we learn be passed
them
down,
on.
pass
That's
them
right.
down to young people,
That's right.
like Brother Lamont
yeah.
and others, because they need to know this.
Yeah.
They need to know our history.
Exactly.
You dig? And how can you find out our history? By telling our story.
That's
That's
right.
the reason why we are here tonight, so that we can make sure that people can know that they can come. One of the things we hoping to do is to put together a conference, where people can come and they can sit down and they can listen. Betty is still alive. Come and meet this sister.
Yeah.
You come and meet some of these young brothers that have no recognition.
Right.
You dig?
Right.
But show what they was able to do. Because one thing about it, you dig? As for that night ward, and especially the Desire Project, it just would have been another project in America if it wasn't for the fact that we stood up.
Yeah. And they would have had a lot of deaths too, with a lot more black folks dying.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I go to my grave with this. Our community wouldn't be in the dismal situation that it's in now if we would still been able to exist.
Oh, I agree
Because
wholeheartedly.
I'm going to tell you, we dropped the crime rate almost 90% and have never been done before. The sad part about it is that no one in this city truly believed that this ever happened,
Yeah.
that this was a myth.
Yeah.
But we're here to let them know that this really happened.
We have the fastest hour in television, and we're winding down. But I do want to say this: we're running into white folks' holiday season, and after that, it'll be in January. I want to schedule the three of you, individually and separately, so that we can devote an hour each to the stories that you can share with us, because I think that is so needed. President General Reco, I've been trying to get you on here for a long time, and I finally got you, so we're going to bring you back so that we can hear what you have to share with us. And also, Brother Lamont, we're going to have him because this brother has been working fearlessly in our community, making changes, not trying to make change, but making changes. And we have to give him an opportunity to tell his story as well. But I'm going to schedule for the three of you to come back in January so we can hit the points that you really want to get into, the stories that you want to tell. And I don't want to let the cat out the bag, but there's something going on in January. I want to bring you back here for that as well. So we'll talk about that a little later once we get all of all of the details worked out. But gentlemen, brothers, I want to say thank you for your service, but most importantly, thank you for being with us this evening, because you make our story what it is and why it is, because you can't find this other places.
Oh,
This is it.
But see, we have to also take the time to thank you.
Oh, well,
because
you're welcome.
if you wasn't here, we wouldn't be here. And as for
Where?
Lamont, he's a light and an inspiration
To all of us.
to all of us.
Yes, he is.
So he have to, and the good things that he's doing. And as for my president, because I'm a citizen.
I am too.
Yeah,
Our
of the
president,
Republic
please.
of
Our
New
president.
So again, I have to say that, and this is a blessed time, because now we are coming back. The Republic is coming back, and it's coming back to what we call a Kush district. So here, one of the first things that I met with Lamont is we went over to the Kushite Center.
There you go. We're going to have to save that for the next time. I'm sorry, we've run out of time, but brothers and sisters,
right.
that's the way. I wanted to make you aware of my book, Our Story, The Original Holocaust, and you can find it at Wayne's World and Sons on St. Claude. You can find it at Community Book Center on Bayou Road, and you can find it on the West Bank at Educational Center on Holiday Drive. But brothers and sisters, we want to thank you for being with us. We want to remind you that you have to stay in the struggle, in the fight. Remember, stay strong, stay black, but most importantly, stay committed to blackness. Till we meet again, brothers and sisters, Uhuru Sasa Umgawa.
Yeah.